Hey everybody, Matt LaPlante here with another video for you. I've come up with 6 areas that I believe we need to focus on in order to get through a recession, but more importantly, how to position ourselves for what comes after the recession. Because after the recession, that's where all the growth and opportunity is. So we want to be in as best position as possible to be able to take advantage of that. So let's jump right into it. Area of focus number 1, cash. Cash is king. Not just cash that maybe you have, sitting in a savings account, but cash flow, so the money coming in from your job or employer or from your company. So for starters, we want to make sure that we have 3 to 6 months in emergency saving. So what that means is you want to have 3 to 6 months in a completely separate account, like a savings account or something, that covers 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. So let's start with there. If you're not there, let's fill that up, make sure that we've got that full. In the event, again, if something goes wrong or goes haywire during the recession, you don't have to worry about it. You got the money set aside. More importantly, we want to have a little bit of cash on the sidelines from an investment standpoint, ready to invest. Now, this doesn't mean that you put everything in cash and you just sit there and try and wait it out. That almost never works, but you want to have, again, if you have whatever you normally have sitting in cash, you want to have a little bit more than that. Again, ready to deploy, because if I'm right, and after we come out of a recession, if we're in a recession, after we come out of it, there's a lot of opportunity that you're going to want to take advantage of, and cash is going to be one of your best friends to do that, as well as cash flow to be able to invest. Now, areas of focus number 2 and 3, they really go hand in hand. Number 2, reduce debt. The debt I'm specifically talking about is variable interest rate debt. Variable interest rate debt means if interest rates go up, which they have, your payments go up. Now, interest rates have gone up, and I believe they're going to continue to go up. So that means your payment would continue to go up. Now, that's completely against what we're talking about doing. You want to increase your cash flow that's coming in and your ability to use it for investment in the future. Well, if it's more of that money will go to just the payments on your debt, and that's not what we want. So we want to get rid of that if we can. Number 3, right-sizing our budget. Over the past few years, a lot of us have gotten a little overzealous. There was a lot of economic stimulus that came into households, and so we probably were spending a little bit more than we normally did. We need to take a look at those things and look at maybe where we have some holes in our bucket, where we're losing, money's going out, especially for things that we may not even be using anymore. There's a lot of subscriptions now, and a lot of people use subscriptions are like, I'm spending hundreds of dollars on subscriptions that I don't even use anymore. So those are things that you can focus on to try and, again, help keep that cash flow strong so that you can take advantage of post-recession. So area number 4, this is really, I broke it into 2 different areas. So if you work for a company, let's start with that. So 1, you want to be irreplaceable by your employer. A lot of companies during a recession will start laying people off. You may have already heard of that happening, or it could even be happening at your company right now, where they're laying people off. If you're irreplaceable by your employer, you tend to not get let go. But more importantly, if you're irreplaceable, there's people that get released up and down the line. So, people at the high end and the low end. That creates opportunities for those who are irreplaceable, where there's opportunities for advancement or take on new roles and all kinds of things where essentially you end up making more money. The employer will give you a raise and give you all kinds of things. Stock options, all sorts of things are potential that you could be taking advantage of if you are the irreplaceable employee. So keep that in mind to make ourselves irreplaceable so we can take advantage of those things so our cash flow is even better coming out of the recession. Now, if you are the employer, so that means you own a business or company or something like that and you have employees, you want to develop a plan. Again, if you haven't already, you want to develop a plan for how to operate your business in the event that your revenue goes down 10 to 30%, I would say, kind of at a minimum. And for starters, you want to increase your cash reserves, because if recession hits, you may have a few hairy months. You want to make sure you have enough cash there available to keep your company strong and going the way that you want it to get through that time period. But more importantly, I would say, is that you want to be on the lookout for strategic partnerships and opportunities, because during a recession, there's a lot of people that may not have been that receptive to working with you, where both of you can profit from you working together because they were busy or whatever reason. But now when there's a recession, they go, hey, I got time, let's discuss this, let's go over it. And now you've merged or you're working with somebody, and now you guys end up being more profitable coming out. Also, there's a lot of people that will just want to sell their business because they're just done, or they want to retire. And in general, there's a lot of retirements that happen during a recession. If you have the cash reserves available and the ability to purchase them, that could be very profitable for your business going forward. So you want to be in a position you can take advantage of that. Number 5, you want to focus your investments on the companies of today. Now, what that means are companies that are making things today that you product or service that you use all the time. Those companies are probably going to be fine, and they'll be able to weather the storm of the recession. But you do want to be on the lookout for the companies of tomorrow. Reason being, during a recession, a lot of these companies that are saying, oh, I got the next greatest thing is coming, they don't have it. But those that do have, the next greatest thing, we see them come out of recessions and they typically do very, very well. A lot of the companies that the largest companies in the world today, think of your Amazons, your Googles, your Facebooks, Apple, all these things. Most of those companies came out of recessions. They came up with their product or service. Afterwards, then it went on fire. So you want to be able to take advantage of that and be on the lookout for those in the future, but that's generally not where you want to be right now. Again, focus on the companies that are making things that you use and products and services of today. Last but not least, you want to make sure you're investing in hard or real assets. Think the right side of the train station. So I've discussed this with many of you, and you may have watched my previous videos on train station, but when an economy starts to struggle, money starts leaving stocks and sometimes bonds, and it goes to this right side. You want to make sure that you're on that side. Now, it doesn't mean you sell all your stocks and you come over here to commodities. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you want to just make sure that you have some funds over there, because as the money flows, that's where you can get some gains out of that. If you look at what's happened so far this year, energy is up. That's done very, very well. Some precious metals have done very, very well. Managed futures are up pretty well this year. So money is already doing that, and it's a flee to safety to wait out the recession, because the money goes to that side, and then as things start to get better, you can start coming back to the left side, adding more to the left side. So it's really just understanding positioning during, but waiting for the end of that recession so we can start to come back. So we'll end on this. Remember, cash is king, cash and cash flow. This is what will allow you to really take advantage of what happens after the recession. If you're in a position where you have little debt, things are going well at employment, and you have a little cash on the sidelines for future investments, that gets you in the best position possible for what comes after the recession, because that's where all the growth tends to be. So thanks. I'll see you guys next time.